Hi, I'm Graham and welcome back to Man vs Film. This is going to be a top 10 of movies that you can watch right now on Amazon Prime US for the month of November 2010. Let's get started. Number 10, The Love Witch. Elaine, a beautiful young witch, is determined to find a man to love her. In her gothic Victorian apartment, she makes spells and potions and then picks up men and seduces them. However, her spells work too well and she ends up with a string of hapless victims. When she finally meets the man of her dreams, her desperation to be loved will drive her to the brink of insanity and murder. The Love Witch is a really strange movie. It's a throwback to the 1960s melodramas. It has this overly designed aesthetic that is just beautiful. Lots of pastel colours, big hair and wonderful outfits. And it has its fair share of murder and mayhem as well. That is tied down with a terrific lead performance and a story that's a little bit different from most other movies. I kind of like The Love Witch. It's one of those movies that's going to be a love-hate. You'll know within 10-15 minutes whether it's for you or not. Number 9. A Simple Favour. Stephanie, a mommy blogger who seeks to uncover the truth behind her best friend Emily's sudden disappearance from their small town. Stephanie is joined by Emily's husband Sean in this thriller filled with twists and betrayals, secrets and revelations, love and loyalty, murder and revenge. I've seen A Simple Favour a couple of times and I still can't make up my mind whether I really like this movie or really hate it. It just fits finally into that kind of box of something that I watch but I'm just unsure of. It has ludicrous plot jumps, big holes that just are ignored or things just happen for the sake of coincidence, but it has these really neat characters at the heart of it. It has some nice twists and turns along the way. It has a fun procedural and it has a lot of good things going for it. It's got two terrific performances from the lead actresses and it's just a movie that I can never make up my mind on. Number 8, Face Off. Special Agent Sean Archer tries to find a biological weapon placed in Los Angeles by a sadistic terrorist for hire and criminal mastermind named Castor Troy. Archer has hunted Troy for the last 8 years and is consumed by revenge because Troy is responsible for the death of Archer's son. To do this, Archer must borrow Troy's face using a surgical procedure to go undercover as Troy. But things go wrong when Troy assumes the identity of Archer. If you haven't seen Face Off, you are missing out on one of the late 90s terrific action movies. It's got John Travolta, it's got Nick Cage, it has them swapping faces due to a surgical procedure that is just preposterous yet incredibly fun. Both of these guys give amazing performances. The action, directed by John Woo, is just out of this world and spectacular. And yet again, if you haven't seen this, you are in for a treat. If it's been a while, it still holds up. It's still fantastic. It still has those flying doves that's in every John Woo movie. Well worth checking out. Number 7, Reprisal. Jacob, a bank manager haunted by a violent heist that took the life of his co-worker, teams up with his neighbour James to bring down the assailant. While the two men work together to figure out the thief's next move, Gabriel, the high-trained criminal, is one step ahead. When Gabriel kidnaps Jacob's wife and daughter, Jacob barrels down the path of bloodshed that initiates an explosive counterattack that brings all three men to breaking point. Frank Grillo and Bruce Willis star in this direct-to-video movie that is actually okay. I'm never going to say it's terrific because it's not. It's a time filler. If you're looking for a kind of action thriller that's going to kill 90 minutes, have some good moments, have some preposterous moments as well, this is the kind of movie that you want to put on. The kind of thing that you can do some work while it's on in the background and tune in and out when you have to. Number 6, Logan Lucky. When Jimmy Logan gets fired, he convinces his brother Clyde and sister Maylee to help him rob Charlotte Motor Speedway during a NASCAR race. But they will need the help of Joe Bang, a convicted safecracker who is currently doing time. All they have to do is break Joe out, blow the racetrack vault, get away with the cash, return Joe to prison and get Jimmy to his daughter's beauty pageant on time. What could possibly go wrong? Well, for one, there's the Logan family curse. I absolutely love Logan Lucky. I'm a big fan of Steven Soderbergh's movies and this is one of those heist movies that he could just do expertly well. He's done it before with the Ocean's trilogy and Out of Sight, and here he just refines all the talents and skills that he's learned throughout those movies into this perfect movie. Great performances, a great heist, great twist, so enjoyable and just endlessly rewatchable. Number 5, The Disaster Artist. Aspiring actor Greg Sestero meets Tommy Wiseau in an acting class. Wiseau is off the scale weird and hopelessly untalented as an actor, but has a stupendous amount of self-confidence. Sestero and Wiseau form a friendship and move to Los Angeles to pursue their dream of making it big in Hollywood. After landing no roles, they decide to make their own movie, produced, directed and written by Wiseau, and with him in the lead role, the resulting movie is regarded as one of the worst movies ever made, if not the worst, The Room. The Disaster Artist is remarkably endearing. You get the character of Sestero and Wiseau, and they are such a great pairing and partnership. James Franco's performance as Wiseau is absolutely terrific as well. He just nails everything, and it's incredibly funny, but it does have those endearing moments that make you want these guys to succeed. And though they achieve some sort of success in the end, it may not be what they wanted, you feel a satisfying ending to it. It's incredibly funny as well and highly recommended. Number 4, The Golden Child. Eddie Murphy plays a detective with a speciality of finding lost children. He is told he is the chosen one who will find and protect the Golden Child, a Buddhist mystic who is kidnapped by an evil sorcerer. Murphy disbelieves the mysticism but finds more and more evidence of the demon worshipping as he investigates. Eddie Murphy was the man in the 80s, and every movie he brought out was a hit, and every movie I loved, I adored. The Golden Child was one of those movies that I endlessly rewatched as a kid because Murphy was incredibly funny and it had the action to keep me entertained as well. If you haven't seen The Golden Child and you're looking for something with quick-witted one-liners, some really strong 80s aesthetic and some good action and a little bit of dodgy supernatural kind of stuff, The Golden Child is your kind of movie. Number 3, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. All good things must come to an end, and sadly, as the popular American magazine Life ceases publication to focus exclusively on the online market, the quiet daydreamer and organisation's negative asset manager, Walter Mitty, faces unemployment. To make matters worse, for the final Prince issue cover image, the famed globe-trotting photographer Sean O'Connell entrusts Mitty with the epitome of his life's work, captured in a single frame that is, however, nowhere to be found. I didn't really fancy Walter Mitty when it came out into the cinemas. It just looked kind of typical of that Ben Stiller stuff that I wasn't really interested in. Finally, I was forced to watch it by a friend, and I discovered a movie that is so endearing. It's so beautiful. All the images are stunning. It has a storyline that really resonated with me, with a man breaking out of his comfort zone to try something that he would never attempt to do, to go on this adventure that just makes him break out of that comfort zone, to make them more confident within themselves, to really reach for something they would never have tried before. I really love that story, and the fact that it's so beautifully shot just made it all the more interesting for me. If, like me, you missed this out because you thought it was going to be the typical Stiller stuff, this is way beyond that, one of his better movies. Highly recommended. Number 2, Get the Gringo. Heading towards the Mexican border, a getaway driver disguised as a clown and his wounded accomplice try to escape the American police with a loot of over $2 million hidden in the trunk of the car. In a desperate attempt to break through the thick border fence, the driver crashes the car, the accomplice dies, and he inevitably gets apprehended by the Mexican police officers. The getaway driver ends up as the only American inmate in an infamous Mexican prison. This is a kind of spiritual successor to Payback, with Mel Gibson playing one of those deplorable characters who you kind of like watching. His antics are horrible, he's mean to people, he's violent, but for some reason you kind of want him to succeed. You want him to get through this prison that he's in, because everybody's kind of worse than him. So even though he's a bad person, the things he's doing bad things to are worse people, so you can kind of get away with it that way. He's trying to save a young boy as well, and it just becomes an action fest with a little bit of a heist quality in it as well. Definitely worth watching. A great performance by Gibson, and a great movie that you never hear anybody really talking about. Number 1, Arctic. After a plane crash, a man fights to survive stranded alone in the Arctic. When he sees a helicopter, he sees the chance to be saved, but the helicopter crashes and he rescues a wounded woman from the debris. After a long period, he decides to embark on a journey with the woman with hope to find salvation or death. Arctic is a marvellous movie, fairly simple in its plot, very limited in dialogue, but entirely compelling thanks to the performance of Mads Mikkelsen, who is this movie. He is the sole character on screen. Although we get the injured woman, she's unconscious. We never really see her. It's just more of another burden for him to traverse across this unbelievable landscape that he has to try and somehow traverse to get to safety. And just seeing this man as he systematically tries to survive is compelling. It's so fantastic. It looks amazing. It's expertly shot, and the way it creates this tension without having to go to dialogue. It's a lot of showing rather than telling. It's just storytelling done in a fantastic way with limited resources. This is a marvellous movie that you could just skip by oh so easily. One of the best things about it is it starts entirely when it has to. There's no preamble, you're just there, he's trapped, he's trying to survive. And it ends exactly at the perfect point of the movie. It just creates this fantastic story of this character, and it is so wonderful, so compelling, and one of these movies that I'm just worried that people are going to miss out on. Arctic is amazing. Check it out. There we have it, 10 movies for you to watch this month on Amazon Prime. I hope you find something there that you want to check out, or something that maybe has sparked a little bit of interest or curiosity in you. If there's something missing off my list, let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next month for another top 10. Thanks for watching.